Disputing liability again.
You misunderstand. That is not my job. That's not my responsibility. I don't have a duty to you to protect you from this or to advocate for you when it comes to liability because you're not my insured. The only duty I owe you is to complete a liability investigation and to do so objectively. I have done that, and I've determined that the outcome here for liability is 50-50. You don't have any proof to support your version of events. The only reason I accepted 50% liability is because this was a parking lot loss and both vehicles were moving, so there really isn't any evidence for one version of events versus another. But I've told you several times at this point, and so has my manager, this liability decision is not changing unless you can provide us with adequate evidence that would put my insured 100% at fault. You haven't done that. Continuing to say that he hit you isn't going to change anything. We've had this conversation several times. I understand that from your point of view, he's responsible, he hit you, you're saying that he tried to leave the scene. None of that is corroborated by the evidence that you've submitted to me, and therefore, I'm not accepting responsibility 100%. You haven't met the burden of proof. If you disagree with that decision, you can go talk to your insurance. Then I can't help you. It's not unprofessional for me to stand my ground. I've given you this information over and over, and we continue to have the same conversation. I'm telling you at this point, nothing has changed, nothing is changing unless you can provide me with proof that would put my insured 100% responsible. If not, the best I can offer you is for you to submit an estimate to us and we can pay out 50% of those damages. Okay, then we have nothing else to discuss. You have a great day. No, I'm not passing you on to my manager because you've spoken with her several times at this point and she's told you the same thing. I'm not going to give you to her for her to tell you again for the third time that we are not accepting more responsibility without any proof. Okay, you do that. I'd be happy to provide them with a copy of the claim file and support the liability decision based on my investigation. That's not a problem. Goodbye to you too. These third parties, they misunderstand. They think that we owe a duty to them to side with them, when in fact it's actually the opposite. My job is to side with my insured unless you provide enough evidence to say otherwise. Like, I've literally spoken to her 5 times in the last 2 weeks to tell her the exact same shit. And then she's spoken to my supervisor and called her voicemail several times while I was out of the office to dispute this as well. She's shit out of luck. Literally. Until she can provide me more evidence. And the fact that she's fighting with me this hard but not providing any additional evidence tells me she doesn't have it. Can't help you there. That's what you have insurance for. Go talk to them. It's not my fault you don't like your insurance. So annoyed.